today, with the debt level that we talked about, with the cost that we talked about, is education worth it?
It's a yes and a no. So I'll tell you what my education, besides helping me in several business decisions and some work I've had to do over the years, it did give me the ability to take a chance. When I left the Swift Trade campus model, working with Neil and Sean, I had a real sort of soul-searching debate. Am I going to go ahead and trade on my own and try to do something in this entrepreneurial environment, or am I going to go get a job?
Right.
So what I did was, and I was now at this point 27, whatever it was, 28, I went and sent out a bunch of feelers to people I knew that were in good positions. You know, here's my experience, here's my education level. Like, you know, I've only ever worked really for one place. And I was getting good feedback that, hey, you could come get a job here. I know somebody at sort of this dollar level. Well, when I knew that worst case scenario would take me 2-3 months to go find a job at that quote dollar level, it gave me that sort of confidence that I might as well keep giving this a shot, because I think there's higher dollar levels here and I like doing what I'm doing.
Right.
What drove me to continue to do this, like, look, there was a lot of ups and downs and failures along the way here. Don't get me wrong. It was, I really like doing what I do every day. I really like the environment. I grew up liking stocks. I mean, I always tell people I won a stock trading competition in university, one of the national ones. And I won it all, and then literally a week later, the prize was an E-Trade account with a bunch of money in it. I lost all the money in a week. So I always found it fascinating. I like the capital markets. So to me, being able to work in it, and we're one of the few firms that gets to work in it in a very entrepreneurial way, in a fun way. There's not a lot of firms out there that are our size that have young, fun people working there all day long, and then we don't really put the shackles and restraints of a 9-to-5 on people. Mm-hmm. So I think the education part, it gave me that sort of negotiating skills, with negotiating collateral with myself. Like, I could basically say to myself, all right, go ahead and give this another shot, because worst case scenario, you could go do this. It's helped me along the way where, look, let's get serious. We work in a day trading company and we deal with large Wall Street firms. We've gotten in several arguments over the years, whether it's some, accounting numbers or regulatory things, or, all kinds of battles we get with these firms. I think my education has given me credibility, whereas if I had achieved the same success without the education, I don't know if I'd be treated the same way by the larger firms. I think it's definitely helped me. I mean, do I sit here and design financial models like I learned? Not once in my life have I designed a financial model, right? I mean, I've probably used less of what I learned in my CFA than anybody that's ever earned a CFA. But I think getting the CFA itself was a challenge going through it, and I think that made me probably a better person. But I think, and hold on, let me finish this. You asked about the cost of it. I also think in today's world, there's a way to get a solid education, not necessarily having to go through the full cost. I mean, the CFA is $4,000 or $5,000 all set, right? It's not a ton of money. You need an undergraduate degree to have that done. But I think there's other ways. The Series 7, Series 24, the CSC, PDO, these are all relatively cheap exams you can take if you're in the right position at the right type of company.
For someone maybe looking at finance or looking at trading, the financial industry in general, if you had to point them in a first step, which one of those might be a good place to start?
So what's funny is we are, I'm not just saying this because this is the case, but we are probably the only place still in existence, probably probably one of the only. There's maybe a couple more if you want to trade some futures, but there are not a lot of places you can go but firms like ours where you can come in, literally no degree, literally no experience, and have a chance to trade in the financial trade basically Wall Street stocks, trade high street stocks, trade whatever you want to trade, and learn to trade the markets. Almost every other place requires a fancy degree. And it's actually getting worse. Most of the trading is automated these days, so we're actually finding that more people that are being hired for what are called trader positions are being hired with engineering or programming degrees, because that's the way trading is done.